Peace, family, and Habari Gani. Happy New Year. We're back with another video. Once again, Bakari Lumumba, the progenitor of LumumbaSpeaks.com, a Black empowerment initiative where we believe we could gain a competitive advantage by always betting on Black. Back once again with another video where we're discussing the seventh and final principle of Kwanzaa, Imani. As we all know, January 1st is a number of things means a number of things for Black people. One, of course, we know it means the new year, but also it means the seventh and final day of Kwanzaa, where we're celebrating the seventh and final principle, Imani, which means faith, but also it means Independence Day in Haiti. So I want to give a special shout out to all my brothers and sisters in Haiti and throughout the Haitian diaspora. Happy Haitian Independence Day. And we got to give you a special thanks, or kudos, as they say, in honor of course, your victory over Napoleon Bonaparte several years ago, when he was then known as the Petit General. And we know that our success over the French and subsequent even other Western nations led to Haiti becoming the first Black nation state, a Black republic in the Western Hemisphere, and showed Black people throughout the world that through armed resistance, we can be a free, proud, and productive people, and not only be free, proud, and productive, but also own our own nation. So we want to give a special thanks and shout out to our brothers and sisters in Haiti and throughout the Haitian diaspora for showing that they were about their life and that they wanted that smoke. And as a result, their victory was part of the catalyst for the modern era of course, Pan-Africanism. But with that being said, we're back once again discussing Imani, the seventh and final principle of Kwanzaa, which teaches us that to believe in our teachers, our leaders, our parents, and of course the righteousness and victory of our struggle. And I think this is very important. So we know that the first principle is unity. And we're taught that without unity, none of the other principles can fall in line. But we know that without faith, we may be able to begin to work with unity, but it takes faith to sustain the work. And so I think it's very important that we understand that we inculcate a belief in ourselves. We know a lot of people, and we can have this conversation another time about believing in the divine, believing in the creator. But I think it's very important that we teach our children to believe in themselves. I think when we look at other racial, ethnic groups or cultures, they have a belief in themselves as a people, and we have to do the same, because if we're going to fight this battle, right, if we're going to be victorious against the vicissitudes of anti-Black racism that are ravaging the world, then we have to believe in all our hearts in the righteousness and victory of our struggles. This is similar to in any conflict. The combatants have to believe that they can win, right? When we look at World War II, for example, which is a historically famous war, and the most deadly war in human history, actually, the Germans and the Allies believed that they could defeat the Axis powers, even though for the majority of the war up until 1943, after the Battle of Stalingrad, there was a belief that the Axis powers would win because they were dominating the war. And so you just have to have that power of belief. And I think it's very important that we focus on that. But also I want to invoke some of the knowledge of one of our greatest female ancestors, a Queen Mother, Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, who founded the Daytona Industrial Training School for Negro Girls in 1904 in Daytona Beach, Florida. She was known as, of course, the First Lady of Black America, and even the female Booker T. Washington. And she lived to be about 80-some years old. But one of the things that she taught us was that without faith, nothing is possible. But with faith, anything is possible. And so I think it's very important, once again, that when we talk about faith, not in terms of a religious sense, but in a cultural and a political sense, that we focus on inculcating a belief in ourselves. We know oftentimes Black people are socialized or educated or miseducated, as Dr. Carter G. Woodson would say, to look outside of ourselves for images or models of success. Of course, I believe this is extremely problematic, and I hope that my viewers believe this is the case as well. And so what we have to do is invoke positive self-images, whether that be beauty, whether that be education, whether that be sports, whether that be politics, that is rooted in African self-determination at home and abroad. I could think of many years ago when Sister Soldier was doing the lecture circuit, and she was on the Phil Donahue show, and she was debating with Dr. Cornel West. And she told him, listen, we have to have faith in African self-determination. We can't dilly-dab with the minds of Black children, African children. We have to have faith that we can, through self-determination, through Kuchishakalia, build our own institutions, and be able to empower ourselves in a manner that we are able to resist the hammer, as they say, of white supremacy and other even groups who look to do harm to us as well. So that's all I have for now. I just wanted to get on here very quickly and make sure that people are properly celebrating and thinking about, of course, the seventh final principle of Imani. But last but not least, want to make sure that part of Kwanzaa for the seventh and final day is having a day of meditation, a day of deep thinking, a day of critical thinking where we look inside of ourselves and say, how can I practice all seven principles, not only on a personal level, but on a family level, on a community level, and on a global level, to make sure that I can help restore African people to their traditional greatness. So I hope that you all do that. Make sure that you take part in that day of meditation. So hope you all had a great Kwanzaa. Until next time, peace.